Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Friday, the 28th of October. So almost last trading day of the year. We've got 31st, haven't we? So let's just look at. I've been seeing comments coming through from the Bank of Japan. Again, following the usual rhetoric of having to watch the rates carefully, etc. So there doesn't look like there'll be any let up to potential intervention, which always makes it a little bit more tricky. But there we are. Aside of that, then we've got the coming out today, 130 Canadian GDP. It's never a great mover. It might move it a little bit, but I mean it's a monthly figure. It's always the month-on-month figure, and it's never quite like a quarterly figure, which tends to have a much more larger impact on the market. So we'll see what develops there. But because it's literally on a monthly basis, it loses some of the power. And they probably did that for good reason. Anyway, core price index of related to GDP there. Aside that, 3 o'clock pending home sales. Again, these sort of figures, they haven't really had much impact for a long time, and they're starting to get a bit more of a blip in the markets with them. So they're starting to become, as you go through a different part of the cycle, some of these numbers start coming back into play. But as I said, I don't know, probably since the sort of late, 2009, 2010, we probably had a little bit then, and then it just sort of died off. And last 12 years anyway, they used to be big numbers. Anyway, consumer sentiment again coming out there at 3 o'clock. So nothing there. Let's just have a look. Nothing there of any real significance. Just have a look at what we've got coming up here. Just check we've got the right day here, 28th. Yeah, there's a lot of little things coming out. Some of these things are part of the main report, but there's lots of small things. We've got the Bank of Japan data coming through at the moment, quite neutral. French GDP has just come out, and it's come out all completely in line, but and that's a Q&Q, but probably no impact there. Comment coming out this morning, I mean probably to settle the markets after the ECP's decision yesterday in terms of no obligation to increase rates by another 0.75% in the next meetings like we did yesterday. Okay, well we pretty much could have guessed that it's probably going to be a 0.5 or 0.25%. They did say last month that they would slow down. Anyway, let's look at the markets. And the euro yesterday, it literally it turned on the there was the 100 and the 1-to-1 movement, and it seemed to have turned on that. Whether that's it, we'll have to wait and see. It's only 1 day down, so can't read too much into the market. There were on the smaller time frame some weak signs, but there's nothing here. We haven't got a lower high yet. If we start breaking down below this recent low, it gives us a lower high, and that suggests much more a softer market as you get the waves coming through here. But we saw yesterday morning with the lower highs coming through that the market had certainly weakened, and it looks pretty weak at the moment. I mean, it's got to be a bit careful, but if it does continue to the downside here and breaks these lows, maybe the S1 would be a place to be targeting. Somewhere around that 99, 17, 18 area would be a bit of a target to the downside. It's not very far relatively, and of course it could be something of a bigger move. I'm not convinced that the dollar's done completely, but I'm not in the guessing market. I'm just looking at what's really there. Okay, what it's showing. The pound at the moment, that's coming off. It came off yesterday, not very much actually yesterday. Played part of the little move down and came out on a mod. It is more of a scalpy type trade, and it barely moved from where it was, from where we came out. So I was quite happy with that one. Sometimes when they roll and you think, oh, I left all that behind. But it got into that horrible choppy mode here. and this morning we've already hit the back to the daily pivot off down towards the S1. The pivots are quite pinched here. It was a tight day yesterday, and you see the pivots are pretty close together. What this has done, it's put a series of lower highs in and lower lows, so it is a bit negative on this 60-minute time frame. The bigger picture, well, you can just see the lower highs in there as well, so it does look soft at the moment. So a bit of a soft outlook on those for today at this stage, unless something changes significantly. They're looking soft. The yen, dollar yen, not a great move yesterday at all. Ended up a bit of a doji, quite choppy when you look at it on the 4 hourlies. Quite a mess what we're seeing through here in today's market. Well, it looks like it's back for bouncing again at this stage. So really we're seeing the picture across the 3 markets so far. Well, with the pound and the euro look like they're going to dip the other way, this looks like it's going to push up with the strength of the US dollar coming back into the markets. It's pretty much looking where it's going. The Aussie dollar again sold off yesterday afternoon, in particular, well, yesterday morning, afternoon. Just looking at a little bit softer again. It hasn't put a lower high in a break of the yesterday's lows there. It's another one that's you're just sort of looking for that, for the sort of signs that it could be rolling more. Certainly on the shorter time frames here, we've got at least one lower high here, but it's amongst these other lows and highs. As I say, a break of this sort of movement would give a bit more confirmation, maybe to the downside in the today going into Monday. Right, Canadian dollar. Just have a look at the Canadian. So Canadian chopping around into its monthly, not really going too far, catching a bit of a bounce maybe. But this is still putting in lower highs, lower lows. They only gave a 0.5% cut increase the other day, yet it's held up quite well relatively, or I say when it's held up, it's done well against the US dollar, which has been coming off here against it. So there's probably some divergence into these lows around here. Real thing is to watch if it breaks the high and starts giving us a higher low, and etc. So same sort of view as some of the, there you go, it's actually breaking a near term high there, so it's giving us a higher low in this shorter time frame, and well, maybe it's got some more more gas in the tank there to get us up towards its R1. Okay, that's the CAD. Right, let's switch markets. Let's go and have a look at a couple of commodities, gold and oil. Gold first. So gold yesterday tippled over a little bit. Apparently not entitled to gold anymore for some reason. It's just switch gold. Don't know what it's doing, but it's doing it. Let's come back to daily. It does this with charts from time to time. Consolidation, not really going anywhere. Coming off, not far off of breaking down. Again, the same sort of pattern as what we're looking at on the currencies, looking for this lower high to be confirmed. A lot can change come 8 o'clock, so I'm always a bit skeptical, and I'll wait until post 8 o'clock. Horrible in terms of the short term here. It's sort of really keeping me away from looking at it in a sense, but at some stage we might get a decent sort of run on it, but at the moment it's horrible. You're literally, okay, you're almost overlapping bars on each bar. Okay, it's working alright as long as you're in a swing. It's not for day trading so easily unless you're just literally scalping, and it can easily nip back and stop you out. So if you're day trading this, okay, erring towards the downside, I would say. Oil. Oh yes, they carried on with a softer dollar. Generally, it carried on, but then when things started changing, it didn't change too much. It's held on, but it's off this morning, so you can see the 4-hourly bars here since midnight yesterday evening started coming off, and it's continued through, and looking a little bit softer, but I'm sort of looking at the bigger move. I'm still got that sort of thoughts in terms of the potential, the demand coming back through at some stage. I know Biden's been telling producers to cut oil prices, but that doesn't necessarily mean they will. Oil and gasoline. Okay. Looking erring on the sort of softer side, but that could just be a big flag in the bigger scheme of things. Maybe steer clear of that until 2 o'clock and see where it's how it's shaping up then. Okay, switching markets, it's come across. Look at cryptos briefly here. I'll look at Bitcoin as the benchmark. Sold off yesterday, so it's very similar to the likes of the euro. We're just really seeing duplicate movements coming through here. It's just Binance. Where are we doing with Binance? Picking up a little bit better than Bitcoin is, but again, still quite rangy. These markets and Chainlink still, they're still underwater to me. They're still soft, weak markets. Better description, and they're not really showing me anything on the bullish side yet. Nothing at all. Every time they start getting, so we got this little bearish engulfing bar yesterday, key reversal bar, just looking soft. Okay, it's broken the lows and bounced a little bit, but it all looks rather soft. Okay, moving across finally to the indices. CSI 300, further selling coming through in this market, really looking soft. Chinese markets, the Nikkei off as well, quite a gap down there, so really quite the same old really. Nifty 50 not really closed yet, not closed yet at all, but it's had a little pop and then it's taken out the recent high and then dropped back down again. Still, as I say, one of the more bullish ones, bullish markets there. Got the scope. The S&Ps then. S&Ps yesterday ended up downward. Selling coming in as we saw the sort of recovery of the pound, the recovery of the US dollar. Dow Jones managed positively, but eventually started selling off here. So all in all, Nasdaq is certainly, as I said yesterday, it's certainly the weakest there. If you're looking for the shorts, it seems that on the equity markets, the Nasdaq, the CSI 300, those markets at a better place. You're looking for the longs, the Nifty 50, maybe the S&Ps. It's got scope, but to me it still looks very weak in the overall. Actually, the Dow Jones probably for the longs if it resets. So here we go. Anyway, that's pretty much it from me. Morning, Michael, and morning Cam and Ray. Good morning, all. Sorry, coming in. So there we are. I will leave it there. I wish you a great weekend. I'm sure we'll be able to catch up in time-wise. And I will speak to you on Monday from the video people. For the roomies, I'll carry on talking to you in a moment. Bye for now.